In this video, I want to talk about the number one mistake I see new self-publishers make when they start on Amazon KDP. Now, I believe that even more advanced publishers will benefit from watching this video because it's always good to be reminded, and you might be able to pick up something from a different angle, so you might get a new perspective on something, so it's always good. So listen to 2x speed if you're more advanced. And what are we looking at now? We're looking at some proof. We have December 1st to December 31st, 2023. Now, what you're seeing here, it's a lot of books, but a lot of these are older books. Some are translations. Some of the older books have unpublished, etc. But if we go here, we can change. Let's see, we take last year. So what I try to do in these videos is that I try to share the lessons I've learned along the way to building a 7-figure publishing business, so you can save time, money, energy, and a lot of heartache that I had to go through. So I think this video will be very valuable, especially if you're just starting out. Now, this video is geared and it's taken into consideration that you want to make sales. If you just want to publish the books, then maybe not everything in this video will be relevant. Now, this is for every type of publisher, whether you're doing fiction, non-fiction, low content, medium content, etc. So I do primarily non-fiction, high content books, but regardless, this video is applicable to everyone. So let's go over an analogy that I think will drive this mistake home. So let's imagine that we are going to build a house. And what would we do? Now, it's a big investment, so we would want to make sure that we pick the right location for our house. So we have, for example, maybe we want to build a house in the town, or we want to build it in the suburb. And there may be some factors that we want to take into consideration. So for example, is it close to a school? Is there a supermarket? Because if it's close to a school, that might mean that we can have families that want to buy this house, or if it's close to a supermarket, is more appealing for several different reasons. So we ideally want to build a house in a proven area. And even if we build it a little bit outside, we at least want a road to the house, in my opinion, because we want to be able to get people to our house if we want visitors. So how does this relate to publishing a book? So we can see the location as the topic or the niche. So we want to make sure that we place our book ideally in a place where there's already people searching for that book. So are people searching for this topic? And another thing that we might take into consideration is if the topic is trending, then that can be a plus. And does it fulfill a demand or desire amongst a group of people? So we'll go deeper into this later on, but let's continue. So the next thing we want to do is answer the question, why? Why would people buy our books? Even if we place the house, we build a house in the right location, why are they going to buy our house? Why are they going to buy our books? Now, in my opinion, there are 3 different reasons why people would buy our book. And either it's because we're the best, or we fit right in, or we have a unique angle, meaning that our book stands out. It's the red amongst the black, or it's the fish that swims the opposite way. Now, if we take a look at the best, I think that's obvious. Maybe it's the best book, it's the highest quality, maybe it's the most popular, maybe it has the most reviews, and maybe it has the best book cover, etc., etc. Maybe we have it recommended by some professional, etc. So that is one way, and we will look at examples of this on Amazon soon, or it fits right in. Now, my belief is that we either want to be the best or unique, but this also works. So it fits right in, it's the puzzle, it goes together, it matches what they want, and maybe we have some component, for example, we have the lowest price or something like that, that makes it appealing to other people. And the uniqueness, we talked about that. So let's look at some live examples now. So here I've searched for wall Pilates for women. So if we take a look at this top result, I think that this one is selling the best because it's the best, probably. At least if we look at the reviews, it's 4.8 stars. We see a video course included. We have 200 clear illustrations. Maybe if we want to outdo this one, maybe it is in color, I don't know, but maybe if we make a book in color, maybe that will be even better than this one. But I think that it's safe to say that this one has gone the extra mile. If we take a look at the 28-day plan, etc., etc. Now, we have other books selling well. So this is the sales rank, and we see that they're selling because they fit right in. They are also performing, so it matches what the target audience wants. Now, what is an example of being unique? So if we take a look at this book, Profit First, we can see that this book swims against the current, or at least it goes against a certain current. It doesn't talk about increasing payroll, or it doesn't talk about increasing expenses for supplies, etc., etc. So here it makes a statement, we first want to focus on profit. Now, if we take a look, Amazon, that's an example of a big company that didn't focus on profit. So for nearly 20 years, they didn't make a profit. So this was posted in 2013. So I think that it's safe to say that we can realize that there are many different angles that you can take when it comes to, for example, business books, exercise books, diet books, etc., etc. So one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to build a shack in town, because that will not lead to us selling the house or selling the book. If we publish in town, meaning in an area where there's a lot of books, a lot of competition, a lot of demand, then I think it is wise to make sure that we at least meet the standards. So we at least fit right in, or we're the best, or we're unique in some way. Now, there is another strategy, and I've called this the Suburb strategy. I'm just making terms up and words up, but hey, imagine if this one takes off and Gordon Ramsay walks into his publisher and the publisher answers that, hey, sorry, Gordon, we ain't taking your book. We're going with the Suburb strategy this year. So what is this? It's publishing in a more specific topic or targeting a more specific target audience. So let's take a look at an example. So we can say that a more general term is Python programming, but if we add for cybersecurity, that makes it more niche, more long tail, and more specific. So that is an example of making the topic more specific. Another example of making the target audience more specific is adding over 60. So wall pilates for women over 60. And from what I can see here, at least in the beginning, we don't have anything specifically for women over 60. We have for seniors, but that is for both men and women. So this could be an idea of being more niche. Now, obviously, there will be less traffic to this long tail keyword, but the good thing is that the target audience will feel like this book is made just for them. And that can be very powerful. Okay, so the next thing we want to look at is the plan. And what is the plan? If we're building a house, we want to make sure that the architectural design, the plan, makes sense. So for example, we don't want to place probably 2 bathrooms next to each other, or we want to make sure that we have a porch. So this could be, we want to make sure that we have an introduction to the book and that it's laid out so it makes sense. For example, having 2 bathrooms can be likened to having repetitive chapters, etc. So we want to make sure that we have a plan that makes sense and that is structured well, etc. And of course, we have different methods of making sure that we have a plan that makes sense. We can look at what other books are doing, but we can also think through, as a customer, does it make sense to read the book in this order? Or does it make sense to include this? Will this help them? And we try to cut out the things that will not help them if we're doing a nonfiction book, for example. Then we move on to the building phase. So now we have the plan. Now it's time for the builders to start building the house, and we want the builders to follow the plan, and we want them to use good material, because if they use bad material, then it will not be a very steady house, and we want them to follow the schedule. So we want them to build it on time, because we don't want to be built unnecessarily, or we don't want to be without a house that we can't sell for very long. So that is similar to having a writer or writing the book yourself. We want to follow the structure, A, B, and C, that we laid out before. And if changes are needed, for example, let's say the builders, they encounter something, then they need to tell the architect that, hey, we want to make some changes because we think this makes most sense. And if it makes sense, then we can make changes, just like we can be adaptable with the books. But we want to make sure that we get that information. So the plan needs to be followed, but can be adapted. And we want to follow the schedule. So if we're writing the book ourselves, we want to set a goal. Okay, we're writing 1,000 words every day for 5 days a week, or we're having the writer have a clear deadline. So avoiding bad material might be avoiding weak words, poor sentence structures, grammatical or spelling errors, etc. Now, it's okay if it's a little bit messy during the building phase, because we want to move forward, we want to make progress, and we want to be on schedule, and we can clean up this mess later by editing the book or having an editor edit the book. Okay, so the book is now done, the house is done. What do we want to do then? We want to paint the house, and we want to make sure that we have a fence that looks nice, and we have a driveway, and etc. We have a good presentation of the house, so we make it appealing. Now, this is similar to having a good book cover for the book, and we want to think about the different components for the book cover. So, for example, inclusivity, if we're choosing to include people on the cover. If the book is for both men and women, we include both men and women, or we make it gender neutral. Or if it's for kids, we may include kids of different colors, different genders, etc. So that is one example. And the book description, that's also something that will help sell the book. So that is the presentation of the book. So we have many different components. We can break this down even further, but that's not the goal of this video. This video is to give you an overview of the biggest mistake. So let's continue. So now what? Now it's time to make it known. And we can make it known by, for example, running ads. So if we want to sell the house, we run ads and tell people, hey, we got a house for sale. Or we run Amazon ads and we tell people on the Amazon website that, hey, we have a book. And we might also have an audience built up. And if that's the case, then we can drive traffic to our book. And we can also place our book in front of other people's audience. Now, we want to make sure that the audience is relevant to the book topic. So, for example, if our book is about finance, then it doesn't make sense to have it in a paper about dog training, for example. Okay, so there you have it. The number one mistake self-publishers make when starting on Amazon KDP is approaching it with too little intention, not thinking about this. And I think that one of the reasons for that is that we're not thinking of it like if we were to approach it with a bigger investment. And I do believe that there is a big investment because you're investing your time, you're investing your money, your energy, your other resources, perhaps other people's resources. So if you approach it a little bit more like as if you were going to build a house, then I think you would do it with more intention. Now let's talk about the key to making it big. Let's first take an example of the uncaring caring home. Now, what is this? It doesn't look nice. Perhaps it's not placed very well in a good location, etc. And the personnel, they're just eating chips and watching TV. They're not taking care of the elderly. And it's a mess. No one is cleaning it up, etc. So it's unorganized. And that is an example of what we don't want to do. However, what this creates is an opportunity for the caring elderly home to step in. So imagine, perhaps we already have experience running elderly homes and we know where is the best location and we hire the right people that actually care for the elders and we make them happy and we make their family happy and everything is just better. So for example, the layout in the home makes sense, meaning that we do it step by step in the book. For example, if we're making a nonfiction book, it's very step by step, follow these things. There's no unnecessary information, no unnecessary steps that the elders need to take, etc. And we have nice paintings inside the elderly homes, so they get happy. We have images in our books that either help explain the concept or makes the book more alive, for example. So I believe that that is one of the keys to making it big, is meeting or finding and fulfilling an unmet need. Now, if you like this video, I have more educational videos on Skool, and there's a community as well. It's free to join. Check it out. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.